Companies want to market their products to consumers, and using nutrition and health claims is a great way for them to do this, given that the market is moving very much more towards health and well-being, and consumers are far more interested in promoting their health and well-being. So using a nutrition and health claim is a neat way to market your products effectively to consumers. What a lot of small and medium-sized businesses won't necessarily know is that there's a lot of legislation governing those claims that you can and can't make. Now, this legislation isn't there to be the thorn in the side of manufacturers. It's there to protect the consumer from being misled, so that they don't receive information that is incorrect or not scientifically evidence-based. So effectively, this legislation is there to protect the consumer. It's important that you stick to the nutrition and health claims legislation and don't overemphasize, over-exaggerate, or make claims that aren't evidence-based. This is important not just from the point of view of not misleading the consumer. It's also important if you want to list your products in a major supermarket or a big retailer, because again, they will ask for evidence that you are sticking to that legislation. The best way to understand best practice when it comes to nutrition and health claims is to do it by way of an example. So one thing that you can do is visit the Advertising Standards Authority website. There are lots of rulings on nutrition and health claims where they have been in breach of the legislation, and there are some great explanations on there as to why the product is in breach, why the claim is not appropriate. So it gives you a lot of background information. But I've got 5 examples that might help when it comes to deciding what claims to use on your products. So first up are general health claims. These are things like superfood, goodness, good for you, healthy, these kind of fairly generic terms that just imply that the product will improve your well-being in some way. Now, these are appropriate, they are legal, but you have to ensure that the product bears an approved health claim. So for a goodness claim, for example, you could just have a source of vitamin C, which supports normal skin or normal immune system, for example. If you're making a superfood claim, then you would again need to have a source of a nutrient that is of benefit to health, and you would need to have that approved claim wording on your packaging. So these general health claims are used very widely, but often I see these kind of terms that aren't supported by an approved health claim. So it's important to have that on your product packaging and in your marketing. So second example really focuses around no added sugar claims. No added sugar is an approved nutrition claim. You need to have no ingredient that is added for sweetening purposes, whether that is table sugar, caster sugar, honey, palm sugar, coconut, palm sugar, whatever it is. It's there to sweeten the product, and it is therefore an added sugar. There is debate over whether sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, should be included. In Europe, if you have an artificial sweetener sweetening your product, you are not permitted to use the no added sugar claim. In the UK, that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment, so there is variation between member states. But what is very clear is that no added refined sugar or no refined sugar is not an approved nutrient claim. You would just have to say no added sugar. The reason for this is effectively, it doesn't matter whether you're using date syrup or caster sugar. The effects on the body are the same. They are still sources of sugar. They are still there to sweeten the product. They are still there to create the technical properties of sugar. So effectively, you just need to use the same claim, no added sugar, not no added refined sugar. So third example is fat burner supplements. These are hugely popular and promoted by lots of celebrities on social media. But actually, fat burning is not an authorised health claim. Effectively, you can only make claims about weight loss if they relate to meal replacement, shakes and other products that fulfill very specific and strict compositional criteria. You can't say fat burning if a product simply has caffeine in, for example. Now, I have had a question from a legal representative from a brand before about whether claims that are on the EFSA on hold register can be used, because there are a number of botanicals, capsaicin and various plant extracts, for example, that have been related to fat burning in the scientific literature. And these claims are currently on an on hold list prior to EFSA considering the evidence. So in theory, you might be able to use some of those on-hold claims, but the Advertising Standards Authority in the UK states that if you are using an on-hold claim, you need to ensure that there is sufficient evidence to back up that claim. And when it comes to fat burners, the effects are negligible, if anything. They are marginal when it comes to increasing metabolic rate or increasing fat burning potential. They are not going to have appreciable effects on weight loss. So effectively, you might be using an on-hold claim and thinking that you're doing so correctly, but if the evidence base is not strong, the Advertising Standards Authority will still turn around and uphold a complaint against your product. So it's important to be careful when you're using those on-hold claims. So fourth claim is about the immune benefits of products. There is an authorised health claim around a number of vitamins or minerals in supporting normal immune function. Now this is normal. This is just effectively your immune system is ticking over and there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean you're never going to get a cold. It just means your immune system is normal. That's fine. There are plenty of brands out there making authorised claims to support normal immune function. Lots of supplement brands, juice brands, and so on. What you can't say, because it's exaggerating that claim wording, is immune boosting. So there are a few products still out there that haven't been pulled up by the Advertising Standards Authority who are claiming that their products will boost your immune system. Not only is this an exaggeration of the approved claim wording, it's actually not something that consumers would want. Consumers might understand that to mean that they won't get flu or winter colds, for example, but a boosted immune system is actually an allergy. It's where your immune system is attacking parts of your body that it shouldn't attack. So autoimmune diseases, allergies, or anaphylaxis, for example, is an example of a boosted immune system. That's not what you would want from any product, certainly. So it's important to avoid misleading the consumer and over-exaggerating any of that claim wording. So the final example is, in my mind, an example of just because you can doesn't mean you should. And this relates to detox claims. These are hugely popular in the media, lots of celebrities promoting detox teas, detox juices, cleanse plans, and so on. Now, this is a really interesting one because recently the Advertising Standards Authority deemed detox to be a general health claim. So effectively, you can put detox on your product as long as it is supported by an approved health claim that's on the EFSA register. Now, that approved health claim does have to be relevant. You can't talk about bone health or muscle health, for example, because that's not relevant to the term detox. It would need to be a claim that's associated with the reduction of oxidative stress or liver support, for example. And there are authorised health claims that relate to certain micronutrients in this department. So effectively, you can actually make this claim, but is it ethical to do so? And I think that's important to recognise if you're a small to medium-sized business. Are you doing things ethically? Are you talking to your consumers ethically? Because ultimately, my feeling is that detox does have more than a general connotation around it. It does make you think about cleansing, flushing the body out, supporting liver function, for example. And effectively, our bodies do that on their own. We have a liver, we have a kidney, we have lungs. These are our detox organs. They will get rid of any alcohol that we've consumed, anything that part of our daily diet is maybe classed as a toxin. The body will get rid of that. If you are in a state where you have consumed poison or over-consumed alcohol to the point where your liver can no longer function and no longer clear those toxins, a cup of tea is not going to help you. You need to get yourself to hospital and have remedial treatment. So for me, Detox is a just because you can doesn't mean you should kind of claim.